Hey there, today I'm going to teach you how to draw Meowth from Pokemon, and I hope I pronounced that right. Anyways, let's start on the left side, on the upper eyelid, starting on the far side, and going up, and then down towards the inner part of the eye. Let's draw the same thing, but flipped over on the right. So leave a gap in the middle, starting at the same height, going up to the same height, and then coming down at the same height on either side. From here, I'm going to do a shallower upward curve, so it's not as steep, to connect the sides to the inner part of the eye. Do that with both sides. And the reason why I'm going from left to right, I just want to make sure that I'm balancing them out to be the exact same size. Inside the eye, we're going to draw the pupils. Now the pupils sit on the inner part of center. So starting at the top, we're going to draw a very elongated oval. Again, from center, we're going to move over to the left and draw an elongated oval. Now on the side here, we're going to draw some highlights. So right about here, I'm going to go up with an upward curve, and I'll do the reverse on the downward, and then fill the inner part black. Do the same thing on this side here, so doing an upward curve, and then a downward curve on the bottom half, and then coloring that in black. Now in the inner parts of the eyes, there's this little thing that looks like almost like a sideways triangle. So starting at the top here, going to a center point, and then back, and then coloring that in black. So it's like little arrows or little darts that are pointing towards each other in the middle there. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to draw the little gold coin in the center of the forehead. So it starts at the bottom or the top edge of the eyes. So starting here, I'm going to circle around and go up straight, and then right about here I'll round it out at the top, go straight down, and then finish off to meet that point where I started. Okay, so now that's centered, and then there's 4 little slits in between. So I'm just going to start at the top, going across with 1 line, 2, 3, and then 4. Now that I have that in place, I'm going to draw the mouth. Okay, so here I'm going to start where the pupils are in center, and I'm going to draw sort of an upward curve like so, and then I'm just going to turn the sides up, back in towards each other. From here, I'm going to take these 2 sides. I'm going to have the mouth open. So I'm going to have the mouth open to right about here. So I'm just going to do sort of a downward curve going back up. And then I'm going to draw 2 fangs. So on one side, on the left, I'm just going to draw a V. And on the right side, I'll draw a V. And then I'm going to draw a reverse curve for the tongue. So it's right about here. I'm going to go up and then back down on the opposite side. Okay, now that I have that in place, I'm going to draw the head. Now the head is sort of like an oval shape. But along the way, he's got it has some whiskers. I shouldn't call it a he or a she, because I'm not exactly sure what it is. So on either side of the gold coin, there's these 2 whiskers that stick out. So I'm going to come down right about here. On the right side, I'm going to draw a curve going out. I'm going to move over a little bit and then taper the point like so. Let's do this side on the left, but I'm going to do it flipped over, so it's going to be pointing that direction, making sure that it goes up to the same height here. So I'll put my pen here, and curve down, making sure that I end off at the same height, and then again coming out and then finishing off at the same height as well. Now I'm going to start drawing in the head and stopping right about the side of the eyes here. So I'll come up to about here on the side of the head, just kind of round out an oval to the top part here. Now this gets tucked in behind that whisker and tucked behind that gold coin. I'm going to come around, imagining this line continues around, and I want to stop right at the same height as I did on the left. So coming around like so, and then coming down. So right about here, I'm going to draw another set of whiskers. Now these whiskers on the side sort of join up with the side of the head. So doing a curve out, I'll go to the right side and draw the same thing. So making sure, looking back and forth, that they're balanced out. I'm going to take that point and just taper back in towards the head. Okay. Now I'm going to start to continue this circle around. So I'm going to imagine this oval coming down, back down. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, like so, and then again I'm going to draw another whisker here. So going out, and going out on the right side, and then coming back in so it's tapered on both sides. Now here I just want to tuck the bottom of the face underneath that mouth. So imagine this line coming around and tucking that in behind the mouth on both left and right side, like so. Okay, so now we got the head. Let's get into the ears. So right about here where the whisker meets the head, I'm going to draw a curve that goes out to the tip of the ear here. And I'll do the same thing on the right. From here, I'm going to curve this back in just above that whisker there. On this side, it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit more space here. And then I'm going to step in a little bit and just draw the inner outline of that ear. Now you can see that I sort of rounded out the tip here as opposed to the point on the outer part, but that's okay. Now from here, I'm going to draw in sort of the shape of the body. So the body width is about the same width as the mouth. So I'm going to leave a bit of a gap on the left. I'm going to draw a point right here. On the right, I'll draw a point there. This is my starting point. So from here, I'm going to take the body down to right about here. So the head height is about the same height as the body. So starting here, I'm going to round it out and just kind of stop right about there, both the right and left side. Now from here, I can start building in the arms. So let's go up here and draw an outward curve. So it's curving out. I'm going to do an overlap, curve up. From here, I'm just going to continue and wrap this around the paw. From here, I'm going to step in and do an overlap for one paw. And then the final one, I'm just going to round this out like so. From here, I'm going to go to this finger here and curve down. And then this gets tucked in behind that body with an upward curve. Let's do the same thing on this side but flipped over. So here, I'm going to curve up or down, but going outwards. Do an overlap. From here, I'll curve up and then around the paw, making sure that I have roughly the same size and height. I'm going to do an overlap here and draw the center. And then finally, drawing the final outer paw. Now again, like I did here, I did a curve going in. So starting right where the bottom of this paw is, curve out, and then tuck that in underneath the body. Okay, now here I'm going to start drawing in the legs. So from these points, I'm going to curve down to the top of the feet on both left and right side. Now you can imagine that this curve would go all the way around this way. Alright, so I'm going to imagine these legs get tucked into the body. So leaving a gap, I will draw the center part of the lower torso, leaving a gap open for the legs. So from here, I'm just going to curve the inner part of the legs on both sides. From here, I just need to round out the back of the heels. And then from this point, I'm going to draw a straight line along the bottom of the foot to the length I want the feet to be. From here, I'm just going to round out the toe, similar to like I did here, like a bracket. And then draw a straight line to the top of that ankle. From here, I'm just going to split the toes. So right about here, I'm just going to draw sort of a C shape. I'm going to draw it twice. And then here, I'm going to draw a backward C. So I get the front of the toe and back. And right about here, about halfway down the foot, I'm just going to close it off on both sides with reverse curves. So now we got the body, the legs. The final part is the tail. So here I'm just going to tuck this tail in behind that arm because it kind of gets really big. So starting at this point where the leg meets the body, start here, curve down and out. I'm just going to do a really smooth curve and kind of tuck that in behind that arm. I'm going to imagine that this tail comes around behind that arm, and from here it'll start again. I'm going to curve this around, kind of like a snail, so it kind of curls around like so. Right here at the bottom of the curve, I'm just going to curve this in and start to taper in so it gets a little bit smaller. And right about here, I'll just finish this off with a curve like so. And I think we have it. I think that's it. There's Meowth from Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please share this with your friends, get them to subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.